UFC Rio just recently wrapped up, and I'm going to recap the entire card. The main event was amazing. It was a feel-good moment for me as a fight fan. Charles Oliveira got the win, and it was a pretty good card overall, but the main event made it feel like a damn great card. We're going to talk everything from first fight of the night and then all the way to that main event. So let's jump right into things. Fight number one, Luan Lacerda, Simon Oliveira. Simon Oliveira should never fight in the UFC again with the abysmal 8-pound weight miss. So send him out the door. First thing, Luan Lacerda beat him. Good performance too. Won the first round with some striking pressure and some wrestling. Second round winning, dominating, threatening with submissions. But then ends up getting reversed, and Simon Oliveira is dropping vicious elbows. Thankfully, Lacerda shoots for an armbar and locks it in. But there was a moment where I'm like, oh my God. Is Lacerda going to fatigue? And now Oliveira with this BS 8-pound weight advantage going to end up stopping him? Is there no MMA karma and justice? Well, there was. Nice armbar, and after the fight, Oliveira was grabbing at that elbow. Seems like he got it, at the very least, strongly torqued on and strained, but maybe even some, broken bones or torn ligaments up in that arm as it got ripped by Luan Lacerda. It was a good performance for Lacerda, keeps his UFC dreams alive. And he beat a guy that missed weight by 8 pounds. So have to respect him fighting a guy that was a featherweight and him being a bantamweight. And to go out, get a finish in the second round, and for the most part, look pretty dominant. Green flags all around. I don't think Luan Lacerda has like crazy potential in the bantamweight division. But I think, being a guy from, Novo União, training with Andre Petneris, I'm intrigued to see what he can do. Now, he's 32 years old. So really, he's at the age of, contendership or mid-tier journeyman. Probably not going to get far past the mid-tier journeyman level. But I think they'll give him an interesting fight next. I don't know. I mean, names that jump out to me would be like him versus Jiu-Jitsu, Su Young Yu. Him versus somebody even like maybe a Carlos Vera. If they're looking to match up, two guys that are a little bit older. Both guys have good jiu-jitsu. Fun matchup. For Simon Oliveira, he ain't fighting in the UFC again. Enough said. All right, Simon Oliveira's out. Lacerda looked pretty nice doing it, and I was happy for him. He was a pick I had all week, and I was confident. I was a little worried, though, seeing that his opponent came in as a featherweight. But he made me not worry. He pulled off the sub. Impressive. And the fight went over a round and a half, which I thought was a real lock here. So shout out to Luan Lacerda, beating a guy that had the physical advantages, bar none, over him here. Next fight, Julia Polastri, Karolina Kowalkiewicz. Polastri put it on her from the start of the fight. Aggressive striking, landing good punches, landing body shots. She hurt Karolina Kowalkiewicz with a kick to the body. She was backing her up. She had Karolina running from her in moments, and Polastri was vicious in the first round. Second round, more of the same pressure from Polastri, but maybe a little more success from Karolina towards the second half of the second round. Polastri, there was a little worry as, oh shit, is she slowing down? But she kept a pretty good pace, and like she would rest for moments, and Kowalkiewicz would get some punches through. But overall, Polastri did keep it on her. Like, yeah, there'd be a few shots from Kowalkiewicz, and then Polastri would find more significant answers. Something that I said during the live stream is like every time Polastri lands, there's a reaction. Kowalkiewicz lands, and it's like as if I was throwing an empty Zin can at the chin of Polastri from point blank range. It wasn't doing nothing. Whereas on the opposite side, when Polastri would land, it's like if she hit her over the fucking head with this damn pumpkin mug I got over here for Halloween. So I do think Polastri looked pretty violent throughout the whole fight, and she finished the fight off in the third round with a nice knockout. Rockin' Kowalkiewicz landed a nice high kick, landed some good straight shots, backed her up, attacked, and just wouldn't stop. She went go, go, go mode and got a finish in that third round. Fight goes over 2.5, which like everybody played. And there's an inside distance, which I talked about on my new show, Propaholics, and I'd been mentioning throughout the week. So Polastri getting it done in that third round was nice. Seeing her put it on Kowalkiewicz, it means a lot because I do think Polastri needed an impressive win. Like a decision is fine, but getting a knockout over Kowalkiewicz does a lot for her stock. I'm telling you guys, in the next couple of years, Julia Polastri could become a serious player within the top 15 of the women's strawweight division. When you think about the win here, yes, it's an aging Karolina Kowalkiewicz, but always hard to finish, coming off of decision losses to Gomes and Lucindo. still was considered, one of the top 20 women in the weight class. Not necessarily do I agree with that. Maybe it's because of her veteran tenure as opposed to the reality. But Polastri to go out and do her like that, I was impressed. I'm looking at this women's weight class and I'm like, yo, the women's division's got some serious savages. Women's strawweight, my God, you got good names. Like you have Alekseeva on the rise right now. I feel like Palastri's in an interesting spot where, yeah, she's only 2-2 in the UFC, but she's really starting to put it together nicely. I could see her in a spot versus a Sam Hughes. I know Sam Hughes is known as, the prospect killer. So her and Sam Hughes might be the perfect fight to make now. And let's find out if she passes that test. Obviously, beating a Kowalkiewicz could bump her up a little bit higher. But, like, is she going to fight a Denise Gomes, Tisha Pennington winner? Or is she going to fight a Fatima Klein, Angela Hill winner? I guess maybe that. The women's division is pretty tightly compacted. Like, there's good level. Women's strawweight is really nice. It's like a quick fall off, though. You go from savages like, Alexia Thayanara, Jessica Andrade, even Sam Hugheses. And then it's like Talita Alencar, Elise Reed, Ariane Carnelosi, who's actually fighting Alencar. I feel like Julia Polastri is definitely a name in this women's division that they're looking to slowly build. Or maybe not that slow. I don't know. At 27, who knows? The Sam Hughes fight jumped out. Now, for Kowalkiewicz, I do think a retirement consideration is probably a good idea. Obviously, they could give her a fight against like a Luana Pinheiro, something along those lines, but it's like, why? They could give her a fight against, Shauna Bannon, okay? If she wants to do one more, which, yeah, she's lost 3 in a row, but I feel like Kowalkiewicz is just not the type to want to retire. She gives me the like never say retire vibe. I could see her going to KSW after her UFC career and continuing to fight. I don't know. She just doesn't want to stop. She got knocked out late, but, still put together 2 rounds. Granted, not really competitive. Polastri did good work. It was impressive for Polastri. Nice win. Let's keep going. Lucas Rocha shut down Stewart Nicoll. I was happy about this pick. Grappling defense was on point. Got taken down only 2 times out of the 20 attempts from Stewart Nicoll. In the first round, there was a little grappling success from Nicoll, but Rocha was able to fight his way back up to his feet, get the striking going, and he just absolutely exposed Stewart Nicoll on the feet. Besides toughness, Stewart Nicoll's striking is abysmal. He's got horrible striking. Awkward southpaw boxing, like herky-jerky, but without power. Weird head movement, but also gets hit a lot. Has a good chin, is durable, but like really just there to be hit way too much. He got ripped apart in this fight. He got cracked with big shots on the feet throughout, to the head, to the body. Lucas Rocha just showed him levels in the stand-up and then was able to out-wrestle him late in the fight and like put a point together. Like, hey, I'm a problem. Lucas Rocha is good. He's 25, shoot their box talent. Lucas Rocha has put it together, man. Started his UFC career off rocky, 0-1, but Clayton Carpenter was a damn tough debut for him. And Lucas Rocha, I feel, looks clearly better now than he did in that UFC debut. Stewart Nicoll is a guy who was 0-1 in the UFC. It's not like it was a win over some seasoned talent. But for Lucas Rocha, it was the right win to now, slowly but surely push him up the ranks a little bit. Like, let's see, what can he go out and do forthcoming? What can he do? Where is he going to go? Who's he going to fight? I don't know. With Alessandro Costa. Maybe he fights Alessandro Costa. I don't know. With Lucas Rocha, it's like he's so young at 25, but also it's like flyweight is one of those divisions. I mean, it gets cooking quick. I feel like it could be a debuting guy next. It could be, a Naim Jargal, Tumen Dumbarel. That makes sense. I like that for Lucas Rocha as well. Something along those lines is more sensible than anything else. For Stewart Nicoll, I don't think they're going to give him his walk-in papers, but, like, they could. I feel like you do him versus Alibi Idris, who lost in the finale of The Ultimate Fighter, and let's give Idris a chance to keep his UFC career alive against a Stewart Nicoll. I think timelines might also work out to set that fight up for early 2025. Stewart Nicoll at 30 is a late blooming prospect, and he ain't really blooming, and he's only got 10 pro fights. Rocha with the double pro experience, 20 pro fights now. Good performance. I like Lucas Hocha. His striking is fun to watch. He's aggressive from the start. His grappling defense gets better and better, and he's only 25. So definitely keep your eye on Lucas Hocha. I look forward to more. Let's keep running. Next fight on the card. Bia Mesquita with the absolute breakout performance. I picked flip to her because I realized I was being delusional. Alekseeva, striking looked abysmal. She actually kind of got outstruck on the feet here. Taken down, beat on. She was pounded on in round one, 10-8'd in round one, and then finished off by sub after getting demolished in round number two. Mesquita's jiu-jitsu is world-class. She considers herself the GOAT of women's jiu-jitsu. I mean, maybe. I'll tell you one thing. She definitely is a lot better than Irina Alekseeva. And you have to look at the net positive of this fight. Irina Alekseeva, she fought against someone who's considered a pretty good grappler, Melissa Mullins. And she lost, but still was able to go the distance, right? I feel like she's one to keep an eye on here. Obviously, it's like very early to tell how far she's going to go. You could try to toss her a bone with, another lighter touch matchup next. Melissa Croden fights Tainara Lisboa. Melissa Croden coming in from LFA. I feel like the winner of that fight could be next for Mesquita. And Lisboa being, the Muay Thai, I think she'd be on her back and destroyed, to be honest with you. Priscila Cachoeira, they're looking to fucking feed her, psycho Brazilian vet with power, but no grappling. The thing about Mesquita, which has me thinking, like, how are they going to move her? And it's got to be kind of quick, is because she is 34. It's not like she's a young prospect. If she was 29 right now, I'd say maybe we're looking at somebody that could be a champ. But at 34, I see her with a real possibility of breaking into the top 15. Like, if you matched her up with Luana Carolina, is she not live to win by submission? She absolutely is. But what happens when she fights a girl that knows how to grapple at a high level? Alekseeva is about as bad as you can get in the UFC right now. And Bia made it look easy. But how good is she really against someone that can put some type of resistance out there? That is what I'm wondering. That's what I want to see. Her jiu-jitsu credentials are second to none. And her UFC win was really nice. A finish of Alekseeva, the first girl to finish her, is nice too. But we have to also remember Irina Alekseeva is, nearly a 50-50 record after this fight at 5-4. I do think Bia Mesquita can get some wins. I'm looking at fighters. I'm like, I think she could beat Luana Carolina. I think she could beat Nora Cornell. I think she could beat Priscila Cachoeira. I think she could beat Tainara Lisboa. I think she can beat Montserrat Rendon. Honestly, the Montserrat Rendon fight might be perfect. There's a lot of winnable fights outside of the top 10. When you break her into the top 10, that's when I wonder, like, what would happen if she fought a Norma Dumont, Ketlin Vieira? How would she do against Raquel Pennington? That just seems like too much too soon, but she's 34 years old. So it has to be too much too soon at some point. I predict the UFC gives her like one more fight prior to bringing her into the rankings, but then the next fight has got to be ranked opposition because, like, there's no time like the present. We got to get it started. She's at ATT. She's a training partner of Kayla. Only way to do it in women's bantamweight, it's kind of wide open. It always is. You got some decent skill, you can make a serious run. And Mesquita's jiu-jitsu is real. Now, for Alekseeva, bro, send her to some weird fight promotion. Maybe send her to Fight Circus or something. Give her some Muay Thai fights. Let's keep running. Next fight. Vitor Petrino, Thomas Petersen. Thank you for making us sweat, Vitor. Thank you. Vitor Petrino stressed me out. That's the best way to put it. Vitor Petrino stressed me out. Round number one, he's choosing to wrestle. And he able to do fairly well. I mean, he stopped Petersen's takedowns, even took Petersen down, backed him up, had him rocked in round one, was attacking, got on top of it. Like, listen, Petrino won every round. Don't get it twisted. But round number two, he's starting to slow down. He's still landing bigger shots, and he's fighting off Petersen's wrestling and engaging in wrestling of his own. But it was like, why not just strike? Because I feel as though if he just struck, that knockout that we saw in round three could have happened in round number one. He caught Petersen with the death touch right uppercut into the left hook. Petersen is flat out on his face, and then Petrino cracks him with a couple for good measure. Vitor Petrino has serious punching power. It's just, he's a little bit bird-brained. He doesn't have a very high IQ in this game. it's like he almost gassed himself out. Now, to be fair to him, he did say, I was injured prior to the fight, this, and that. Okay, he was injured pre-fight. I guess that's a factor. He calls out the worst guy in the top 15, Marcin Tybura. A Marcin Tybura that's on his way out. Now, I say worst, but is he really the worst guy? Tai Tuivasa is still in the top 15. But at heavyweight right now, okay, Marcin Tybura is ranked number 10 in the world. I think that we could see Petrino beat Marcin Tybura. And because he called for it, I don't think it's crazy that the UFC goes out and books that fight. Like, seeing that Tybura lost his last fight and then wins over Mick Parkin and Diniz, a controversial one against Parkin, though, I'll tell you that. I think him versus Petrino might actually come to fruition. If he wouldn't have made that call out, would I have been thinking, let's move him up the ranks that high? I mean, maybe. Like, I could consider, oh, what about him versus Volter Walker? That's a cool fight. Volter Walker was supposed to fight Mo Usman. That was supposed to be a gimme fight. Volter Walker's 15. He was supposed to fight Usman. Usman pulls out, whatever the elevated levels of what in the system, the testosterone. We'll see what happens. But I think for Vitor Petrino, he may get that Marcin Tybura fight. If we get a Tybura that's healthy versus a Petrino that's healthy, I still think Petrino is live to chin him. Petrino's grappling is good. I feel like Petrino can break into the top 10. Who does Petrino lose to? Where he struggles, like I could imagine Derek Lewis's power being a factor. Ante DeLija's size, right? Even Sergey Spivak could be a tough fight for him. Waldo is a tough fight for him. Jailton. I think right now, I mean, he'd be live to beat Tai Tuivasa. It'd be a hard fight against Shamil Gaziev, to be fair. He could beat a Mick Parkin. Taliesin Teixeira and him is an interesting fight. Him and Volter Walker is an interesting fight. But at Tybura, seems like there's a clear pathway to success. I see why he made that call out. Now, for Peter Griffin Petersen, listen, he took a chance taking on, a dangerous guy. Peter Griffin Petersen, up next, I don't know, give him Marcus Buchecha. Give him Marcus Buchecha, something like that. Bro, there's not that many heavyweights. Like, it's quick run into the rankings at heavyweight. But I don't think Thomas Petersen is quite ranked level as far as his game goes. Coming off a rough loss. I mean, it could be him versus Kenley Nzechukwu. I think he could end up, giving Nzechukwu problems with the wrestling, but Nzechukwu's boxing is a big factor. We'll see what happens, man. But for Vitor Petrino, if they give him Tybura, I don't hate it. If they don't give him Tybura, I mean, it would kind of be cool to see him fight against like Superman Span, former light heavyweight as well. And it's a winnable fight too. But I will say the positives are the power that Petrino possesses is second to none. I will say Petrino is definitely blessed with the athletic tools to become a challenger to the top. I just don't know if he's got the brains for it. Prove me wrong, Petrino. Big win, though, and a sick KO in round number 3, but made us sweat for no reason. Jafel Filho versus Clayton Carpenter. First round sub for Filho. He cracked Carpenter early in the fight, and then Carpenter cracked him, backed him up, and was slugging some shots. Jafel Filho ends up hitting the perfect trip, getting on top. Clayton Carpenter stuck on his back, fighting out of positions. Filho ends up shooting for a damn Kimura. Carpenter had reversed him, and then next thing you know it, Filho reverses the position, gets on top with the Kimura, and then locks in a perfect Kimura, and we get a tap from Clayton Carpenter in round 1. To go out and tap Clayton Carpenter in the first round, who's notably pretty good at jiu-jitsu, I think that's a big deal. Filho made it look easy. Filho's coming off that fight against Nascimento where he looked lackluster, and he said, oh, it's because he got bit by a spider. I didn't really believe it, but I have to. I might have to start believing him. Man, how many people be claiming injuries, though? There's always injuries. Now, beating Clayton Carpenter doesn't necessarily put him, amongst the elites, but I kind of love Jafel Filho versus Charles Johnson, striker versus grappler. Filho can definitely strike better than like some of these pure pressure grapplers, but Charles Johnson, listen, he can mix it up on the feet. I like that matchup. I'm looking at the top 15. Filho's in a spot where like he's just shy of top 15, really. You look at number 15, Estevam. I could see Filho giving Estevam a tough fight. Number 14, Bruno Silva. And then Charles Johnson, number 13. I feel like Filho could break into it. Now, of course, the Nascimento fight may prevent him from getting a shake in that top 15. And there's a chance that they don't do that. And then instead, he's forced to fight somebody outside of it, like, a Tibetan Eagle, Sumaderji, which I don't hate that fight either. But I'm intrigued. I must say, I'm intrigued to see how Filho would fare against somebody like a Charles Johnson. Obviously, we could end up seeing a Nascimento get a fight against a Charles Johnson instead. Who's to say? But an on-point and healthy Filho is definitely a problem in the UFC flyweight division. Now, for Clayton Carpenter, it was a tough loss for him here. That makes it 2 in a row, but losses to decent opposition. I hate to do it to him, but like, what makes sense? Ode Osborne? That's a hard fight, though, because if Osborne gets a striking going, that's scary. And Nascimento's booked against Estevam. Interesting. That's a scary fight, though. I also don't think it's crazy to go Clayton Carpenter versus Felipe Bunez. They want to toss him a bone, but I don't think they will. I don't think they will toss him a bone. I think they'll toss like Lazy Boy a bone, and they're not going to give him Carpenter. I feel like Carpenter's going to be forced in a tough fight. Like, they might give him Ode. They could give him Lon or Kavanaugh, for fuck's sake. The path for Carpenter, because of this loss, doesn't get easier. There's still monsters. The flyweight division is just filled with incredibly talented fighters. Jafel Filho, definitely one of them. Big win. Nice submission. High-level game. I was impressed thoroughly. Then this fight here, listen. This right here, we noticed that the hand was broken of Lucas Almeida. He did not throw the right hand at all throughout the entire fight. It didn't last long, but he didn't throw one right hand. His right hand was completely broken. He probably needed the UFC's insurance to pay for maybe surgery or rehab, and he needed money, and he took the fight, and he got knocked out in the first round. I noticed it at the weigh-ins. We were live, and some of the chat had mentioned it. Then we looked up close, and yeah, the hand was swollen like a balloon, and it was definitely broken. He gets knocked out in the first round, gets a paycheck. Good pick flip from me to Michael Aswell. He was a lock after, and I said it. He's a lock now. I'm not going to pick a one-handed fighter, and you see why. And Aswell inside distance was the real lock. He gets a knockout. Really impressed with Michael Aswell's boxing. I got to say, Michael Aswell put it on him. I think he also realized, oh, shit, this guy is fighting me with one hand. Let me walk his ass down. Let me back him up and throw some fucking hammers. And Aswell did not miss. Aswell looked crazy accurate. Now, to be fair, Lucas Almeida is not necessarily world class as far as the featherweight division goes, but he gave Danny Silva a tough fight. He beat a Timmy Kawamba. Like, he's gotten wins in the UFC. I feel like this is a fight that puts Michael Aswell in a fun spot. Michael Aswell, he's only 1-1 in the UFC, so he doesn't have crazy experience, but coming off of a big W here, there's potential on the table for him to do something interesting. I look at the division, and I look closely at the rankings. Fucking killers, man. Killers, killers, killers. Michael Aswell, Stephen Nguyen. Michael Aswell, Stephen Nguyen isn't crazy at all. It'd be kind of cool to see him fight Dennis Bazooka, though he's coming off that split loss to Francis Marshall. To be fair, he could also get a Francis Marshall fight. Francis Marshall is 55, right? Bazooka took that fight at 55. Let me double check. Francis Marshall looks like he'd be a 45er. Yeah, he is a 45er. Went off that split decision loss. He should have won that fight against Myron Santos, too. Yo, Francis Marshall, that's a tough test. Francis Marshall versus Michael Aswell is a dope fight. I don't know if they'll do it, but I kind of love that matchup. Michael Aswell is fun. Straight in your face from the start. Boxes well. Good cardio. Takes a good punch. Willing to take him to land him. For Lucas Almeida, I mean, he's got to be hopeful that they keep him, on the roster, keep his job. Keep his job, hopefully, if he's lucky enough. I have no idea. He's in no man's land. Robert Ruchala. Roberto Romero. A serious layoff. He could get released from the UFC after this because it was a bad KO loss. Violent, round number 1. Good win for Michael Aswell. Albeit broken hand for Almeida. Win, still a win. Let's jump to the main card. If you guys haven't yet, make sure you smash the likes. If you're new, subscribe. Ricardo Ramos versus Kaan Ofli. Ricardo Ramos is another bird brain. He really is the definition. He's a bird brain. I hate to say it. I liked Ramos when he was younger, but he's just not good. Shoots for the knee bar, rolls for it, keeps going, tries to turn to a toe hold, heel hook, etc., etc. Playing the leg lock game, but just holding it too long. Okay, shoot for a knee bar, shoot one more. Okay, I can't get it. Let me let it go, scramble, and get back up to my feet. Instead, he overly shoots for it, obsesses about grabbing a leg, then gets his back taken, stands up, and gets choked out in the first round. Just stupid. It's just constantly stupidity with Ramos. I wouldn't even be mad if they cut him from the UFC at this point. Kaan Ofli got a massive win for himself. Listen, this is not to, knock Kaan Ofli. He did what he needed to do. He reacted well, and he ends up getting a submission in round number 1 against Ramos. And it's not like Ramos is easy to finish. Like, obviously, he's lost by Gilly a couple of times. I guess he is kind of easy to finish. But Chepe Mariscal didn't put him away. Kaan Ofli is celebrating, man. Dancing and celebrating. I think Ramos is getting cut from the UFC. I'm going to say that. I think send Ramos out. I think his UFC dreams might be, unfortunately, dead, man. I think Kaan Ofli should fight Yi Jia. Match them up against one another. A guy from Road to UFC that looks mid. And then a guy on the other side from Ultimate Fighter that looks mid. Kind of a battle of the shows, too. Like, that's a cool idea. Kaan Ofli was beaten up bad by Myron Santos to start off his UFC career in that finale. And then he lost a decision to a guy that has experience in Naimov. And then here he gets a win. So, like, it puts him in a trending upward trajectory. But 1 and 2 in the UFC. My God, man. Matchmaking some of these lower level fights, it feels like damn near impossible here because I'm looking at everything on the table. I'm like, I have no fucking idea. I have no care. Whatever the fuck the UFC wants to do for Kaan Ofli. I will say, though, happy for a guy to get a UFC win. He had a lot of hype on him on that season of Tough. And for him to strangle Ramos like that, round of applause. Congratulations. Good win for Kaan. Let's keep running. Next fight on the card, Lock City, my lock of the night. My savage dog lock. Mario Pinto, the underdog, comes through. And as I predicted, he was going to be the MMA fighter. And he took Diniz down and he beat the shit out of him. Pressure with wrestling, backed him up, took him down. Didn't even mix it up in the striking much. Really mostly grappling in this fight. Got to full mount on numerous occasions. Landed big shots from top position. Was dominant positionally. First round into the second. More of the same. Got on top. Sliced up Diniz bad. Ripped him with some heavy elbows. Some vicious ground and pound. Stayed after it. Stayed on top. Even, shot nearly a damn mounted triangle. But still, even fails it. Ends up back up in top position. So Mario Pinto did everything right and then was able to get a nasty stoppage from full mount, just throwing ground and pound shots. The referee comes in and saves Jhonata Diniz, and Diniz's eye was like falling off, man. It was disgusting. Nasty, nasty slash and swelling. Mario Pinto's a good prospect, man. He's got a lot of potential. He's really awkward on the mic. He's speaking Portuguese, pretending he doesn't speak English. Then he's speaking like perfect UK English. That was interesting. I guess he was trying to get the people's attention. He tried to pull a Conor McGregor. I'm not here to take part. I'm here to tear this whole shit down. Tried something a little different. All right. I respect a man who's trying to, spin off something cool. He's 2-0. He's 27. The ceiling seems really high for him. Beating Jhonata Diniz in the way that he did was actually pretty impressive. Definitely, made up for the Austin Lane fight where he got knocked down in round number 1. Mario Pinto's got good tools. I mentioned Ryan Spann earlier, but Ryan Spann versus Mario Pinto is a sensible fight. Mo Usman, but he's going to probably be on a layoff. If he wasn't, that'd be a sensible fight. I feel like he's got some potential in this game, man. 2-0 in the UFC. Could end up seeing him fight Brando Perisic. That could be scary for him, though, because Perisic can crack. Pinto's a hell of a fucking athlete with good size, and he seems to have a decent fight IQ. I could see him trending towards top 15, but I got to see more before I can confidently say, yeah, I see him breaking into that top 15. At 27, you lean towards the answer being yes, because he has like almost, it seems, so much time. 11-0 right now. Definitely there is, a bit of a bounty on his head. If you're in the heavyweight division, you're taking notice of Mario Pinto. If you're a fellow unranked guy, you're looking at it thinking, okay, I might fight a Mario Pinto. I think he does good. I think he does good with a lot of guys in this division, man. Like, the division is not deep. But if you told me he was fighting Mo Usman, I'm picking Mario Pinto. He'll pull it off against that level. Ryan Spann, I think I'm going Pinto. Taliesin Teixeira, that's a cool fight. Both guys graduates of the same season contender series. And Teixeira was the guy they put on the fast track. But Pinto might be the guy that actually has sustainable UFC success. It's quick to break into the top. I mean, beating Diniz, one more win. If he beats a Spann or somebody like that, it's right into the higher level. I mean, there's no more bullshit fights. Maybe they give him somebody from, contender series and, a matchup against a prospect. I don't know exactly, but something tells me they got to move him after beating Diniz, because Diniz had that chance to break into the top 15 against Tybura. Failed, obviously, but he was coming off a win. I'm looking at heavyweight. I'm just like, man, if you got a halfway decent heavyweight, Mario Pinto, good striking, good grappling, Mario Pinto, they can mix it up in the top 10 right now. Like they can make it to that top 10 mark. It's not crazy to break into the top 10 next year for a Mario Pinto if he's able to get 2 wins. Didn't take a lot of damage here. Quick turnarounds, definitely possible. The Ryan Spann fight stands out. A real veteran in Ryan Spann. It's a matchup because, you ain't just going to blitz him and wrestle him easy. Ryan Spann knows how to do everything well. And Ryan Spann matches him in height. 6'5" to 6'5", both with 79-inch reaches. That might be the perfect fight. Instead of Petrino versus Spann, it might be better off Pinto. How would Petrino and Pinto go? I could see Petrino's power and strength being a factor, Pinto's sheer size, and maybe his cardio later stage, because Pinto's won some decisions. I don't think that they booked that fight, but eventually those two are live to cross paths, and I'd be interested to see how they face up. Now, for Diniz, I mean, listen, tough loss. You give him easy. Listen, it's easy to matchmake for him. You know what you do? You give him maybe, Mosman's going to be on a layoff because of that bullshit, man, that he pulled. Hamdi Abdullah Wahab, Chris Barnett winner or loser. Wow, there's really only 37 heavyweights on the UFC roster. I'm looking at Tapology. Obviously, the Tapology rankings are not like set in stone accurate. There's variance, but it gives you an idea who's amongst the top. Diniz was ranked by them at 25. I think that's reasonable. Realistically, him and Justin Tafa's a perfect fight, but Justin Tafa's laying it off. He's taking a break from fighting now. So who knows what Diniz, man. I don't think he necessarily got exposed. We knew he wasn't a great grappler. What Pinto did is he shows that he's got an IQ. He's not bird-brained. He knows how to mix it up. Good win for Pinto. Next fight, Yoel Alvarez and Vicente Luque. Listen, this fight was the weirdest fight of the night. Alvarez gets a finish in round 1, technically. The thumb bone hit the eye. Luque goes down. Okay, there's a TKO. It was not a foul, but they still give him time to recover. Obviously, some weird shit with Brazil. Alvarez strikes with him some more, beats him some more. Round number 2, gets on top, beats the shit out of Luque. Probably should have got a TKO. I don't know why they kept letting it go. I mean, he was pounding on Luque. Round number 3, Yoel Alvarez completely takes his foot off the gas, just fights safe. Ends up, Luque shoots on him, throws a little bit, but not much. Ends up Luque getting under him. He shoots an inverted triangle and just like holds the position for the round. It was really weird to me. There was zero pursuit of a finish from Alvarez in round number 3. I feel like most people were betting on Alvarez inside distance. I'm not trying to be Mr. Conspiracy Theory, but it is fucking weird. Maybe he felt for Luque. He felt bad. He likes Luque. He's like, oh, I don't want to beat his ass. I don't want him to take any more damage. He had a bad brain bleed. It's his choice to keep fighting. He doesn't have to. Alvarez just stayed on top and grind out a win. A guy in Alvarez who's never won a decision. It just didn't make sense. I don't know. Something's weird about this. Something fishy about this fight, man. It didn't make any sense to me that Yoel Alvarez, a guy that had never, ever won a fight by a decision before, would go safety first in round number 3 in a fight that he's dominating, essentially fighting a corpse of Luque. If he just gets up, he probably knocks him out. Luque didn't offer much. Luque was done for, and Alvarez just like took the safe route. Weird. First round was weird. Second round, not getting a stoppage was weird. And then third round, him doing nothing from top was weird. I'm not trying to say there was some fight fixing, but then sometimes it makes you wonder because it's like, what the fuck? He should have gotten a finish. Alvarez not finishing this fight just doesn't make sense to me. Luque was done. He fell to his back in round 2. He was finished with. Yeah, really weird fight. Odd. But Alvarez looked really sharp, stand up on point, looked big at welterweight, looked dangerous at welterweight. It's just weird to see him get a decision over Luque when it seemed like he really could have just got him out of there with a little bit of effort. Not even that much effort. Oh, maybe he punched himself out. No, he didn't. He still had gas in round 3. What a fucking weird fight. What a weird fight. Now, for Alvarez, I mean, he's on the trek of, breaking into the top 15 fast. This was a guy in Yoel Alvarez that was, well respected in the lightweight division, and Alvarez that was right around number 15 in the lightweight division, decides to move up in weight, gets an easy win over Luque, dominant. I kind of like him fighting D-Rod next. I think it's time to break him into the top. Let's give him a chance against a D-Rod who always comes to fight, is a slugger. My God, Alvarez has technical advantages, but D-Rod's an absolute dog. Maybe Alvarez doesn't have that same savage in him because he's not cutting the weight, so he doesn't have that same hunger. I don't know. I'm still confused about this fight. Bonfim and Randy Brown fighting next month. Bonfim ranked 14. That's a main event, too. How the fuck is that a main event? That doesn't make any sense for a main event. UFC, what are you doing to close out the year, man? I feel like Yoel Alvarez, though he beat a guy that, is washed in Vicente Luque, this is a long-time top contender or top 15. Maybe not top, but always at a very high level. I feel like you're deserving of something big with that win. I feel like you have to get something big. I feel like it's D-Rod. It's D-Rod next. D-Rod versus Yoel Alvarez, or it could be Renat Fakhretdinov versus Yoel Alvarez. Either one of those matchups suffices. For Luque, just retire, please. I know he wants to make some bread, and but he needs money. But it's like, dude, it doesn't get any easier. I mean, what is he going to do? Is Luque going to fight Nicolas Dalby next? Is that the fight to make? Him versus Nicolas Dalby? Dalby's fucking relentless. I don't know if Luque is beating anybody. Luque versus, I don't know, the Leech? Is the Leech going to make a comeback? Does he want to make a comeback? Because, listen, the Leech versus Luque is a fight that I'd get behind. They might just give him Jacoby Smith. Give Jacoby Smith a chance for a sick KO or something like that. Yeah, weird spot to be in for Vicente Luque. I don't know. Red flags all around. I think Luque should retire. He seems to freeze in fights, which he never did early in his career. And I think that is a sign of the damage that he has absorbed over a very long fighting career where he took a lot of hits to the head. I don't really want to see him get punched in the face anymore. I don't want to see it anymore. It's hard for me to watch because every shot that lands, I just think of that brain bleed. And then I think of CTE. And then I think of long-term, what's Luque's mental going to be like? Is he going to be like this? Is he going to be like that guy in the MMA gyms? You see that in boxing, bro. These guys are saying, man, it's like me, UFC, I changed. I sound like Nate Diaz, but I'm not trying to be. It's this, his eyes are going to be like veering off in the distance as he talks to you. I've seen it in person with ex-high-level boxers, and I'm sure you'll see it with some MMA guys. Vicente Luque is absorbing insane amount of damage to his head. He doesn't need to have 74 headshots. He doesn't need another head strike. I mean, he's probably going to fight again. But I don't think he should. I don't think he should. You can argue, but he went distance here. Alvarez let him off the fucking hook. I don't know what the hell was going on. Weird fight. They're going to give him Sam Patterson. He just gets violently finished in a round. Low key, though, Sam Patterson versus Alvarez, both giants at 6'3", is a dope fight. I would love to see that. I feel like because Alvarez is like, more of a name, they're going to push him more to the rankings. But Sam Patterson's on fire right now with 4 straight finishes, man. And he looks like a monster at welterweight. I think that's a hard fight for Yoel Alvarez. We'll see what ends up happening for Luque. My vote is retirement. Co-main event, Deiveson Figueiredo, Montel Jackson. The snooze fest of the night. This is the worst fight of the night. Round number 1, Figueiredo took Jackson down, backed him up a bit. Dude, Montel Jackson is so gun-shy. So gun-shy. He got rocked bad at the end of round 1, too, with a big hook. But so gun-shy. Like, doesn't throw. Freezes. He sits there frozen. Round two, Figueiredo takes him down, backs him up a bit. Montel lands some good shots to finish the round. I felt like Montel could have got that second round. I'm not pushing the robbery narrative. I said it last. It can go either way. Round three, I thought Montel outstruck him by a little bit. Able to deal with Figgy's pressure, get him down a little bit, not really do anything. Dude, Montel Jackson, he's just mediocre. And then Figueiredo after. He talks about, I want to fight Petr Yan again. Bruh. A split decision against Montel Jackson. The worst fight of the night. The last thing the UFC is thinking, we're going to rebook you against Petr Yan. But I will say, this keeps Deiveson Figueiredo in a good position for big fights, and he's a big name. He's a big name. I'm hearing rumors of O'Malley versus Song Yadong. Don't know how true that is. But I really like the idea of an O'Malley versus Figueiredo. It's not a bad idea at all. O'Malley versus Figueiredo makes a lot of sense to me. Gives O'Malley a chance to, maybe be somebody that puts away Figgy. Gives him a chance to get back on track against an aging guy, but still a legend of the sport. Two former champs facing off against each other. Figueiredo wants to get to Merab. Fighting an O'Malley and winning would probably warrant a title fight. If they booked it. I don't think they are. But if they did, if he beat Sean O'Malley, he'd be in the title picture again. I don't know if he'd beat Sean O'Malley. I'd probably pick Sean O'Malley to beat him and probably finish him. But Figueiredo's always got serious power. Gets it back on track with a hard-fought win against a lanky guy in Montel Jackson. Now another lanky guy in Sean O'Malley, but obviously way more precise power and less hesitancy. Dude, I feel like Figgy and O'Malley is just a proper, co-main event or a fight night main event. It's just a good fight. Even though Figueiredo wasn't impressive, it's still a win on the resume, and a win's a win. And I feel like you put Figueiredo against O'Malley, you give O'Malley a chance to shine. Yes, the Song Yadong fight makes a lot of sense. Yes, that does. That could be it instead. They could do Figueiredo versus Song Yadong versus, those two. That's cool too. Something about former champ versus former champ. I have an intrigue about the Sean O'Malley fight for Figgy. And it's a very winnable fight, I feel like, for Sean O'Malley. But if Figueiredo wins, it's what he wants. He's back in the title picture, and he wants big fights. He doesn't want step downs in competition. He doesn't want to fight like a Marcus McGee. We'll see what the UFC decides. But what I think is him versus O'Malley. Now, for Montel Jackson, I don't know. Whoever, man. Give him Chris Gutierrez, unranked. It doesn't matter. Close with Figueiredo, but so unimpressive. Such a bad fight. He could have got 2 out of the 3 rounds, but could have. It wasn't a robbery. It was a competitive fight, but doesn't mean close fights can't be robberies. I must say that because some people argue close fights can't be robberies. That's not true. This wasn't one. I thought the second round was competitive. I can see why you'd score for Figgy. Figgy wins. Big underdog too. Congrats. Main event. Now this makes me feel good. Make sure you guys hit the like button if you haven't. And also subscribe. It's Charles Oliveira, Mateusz Gamrot, and it's Charlie O turning back the clock and looking like the champion version of Charles Oliveira. From the start of this fight, putting pressure on Mateusz Gamrot. Gets taken down, finds the reversal, gets the back of Gamrot, threatens him with the rear naked choke for the entire first round. It was a Charles Oliveira masterclass against a Gamrot surging at this point. Yeah, Gamrot's 1-1 in his last 2. He looked great against Ludovic. Gave a great fight to Dan Hooker. But Oliveira made him look so human. Round number 2, Oliveira starting with pressure, and Gamrot don't want to wrestle him. Gamrot doesn't want to play the wrestling game with Charles Oliveira now. He's worried about it. He's getting cracked on the feet. He's getting backed up. He's landing on Oliveira. But Oliveira's just walking him down with confidence. Even takes Mateusz Gamrot down. Charles Oliveira was throwing up omoplata attempts from the bottom also in round number 1, using his jiu-jitsu. Sensational work from bottom to eventually find his way on top of Mateusz Gamrot. Oliveira's jiu-jitsu is world-class, man. That's what MMA jiu-jitsu at a high level from bottom looks like. It works for Oliveira. A lot of guys can't do it. They're too passive. Oliveira is aggressive from all positions, looking to finish, looking to dominate, looking to get to a dominant position. Takes the back round 2, works towards it, strangles Mateusz Gamrot, and he landed some big shots on the feet too, caught Gamrot a good amount, made Gamrot run from him really. Gamrot looked worried round number 2. He recognized, oh shit, Oliveira is still in his prime. This is not some, Oliveira just come off a KO loss is going to be easy. No, it's an Oliveira hunting me down. walking through all my punches and just putting pressure on like he won't stop. Charles Oliveira looked crazy impressive. This was the masterclass that he needed. And after the fight, who does he call out? Max Holloway. Perfect fight is him versus Max Holloway for the BMF title. That's the fight that I wanted to see even leading up to this one. I said, fuck it. Even though he lost to Topuria, let's do him versus Holloway BMF. But getting a win over Gamrot puts him back in the mix now. And him versus Max Holloway for a BMF fight is perfect. That starts off Paramount right. That Paramount deal, we got some crazy fights. That's a main event. We don't need, an undisputed title. It can be the BMF title main event for a numbered card, for sure. Charles Oliveira versus Max Holloway works for me. That's a super fight. I really think Charles Oliveira would be live to pose a serious threat to Holloway. Nobody's brought that level of grappling threat to him. And I'm intrigued. Now, to be fair, the way he walked down Gamrot and absorbed shots, you try and do that with a Max Holloway, you may be knocked out looking up at the lights. It's a rematch as well. They fought years ago. Oliveira tore his trachea against the cage early in round 1, so it'd be cool to get like a proper result between the two. We talk more about Charles Oliveira's performance. Boxing was on point. Power looked there. Speed was there. Aggressiveness was off the charts. Wrestling was there. Submission game from the bottom was there. His jiu-jitsu looked perfect. Throwing up omoplatas and triangle attempts, staying active from bottom position. Charles looked primed. Submitted Gamrot in the second round. Made it look easy against Mateusz Gamrot. Nothing but respect. Nothing but respect. Now, for Mateusz Gamrot, I must say, taking this fight on short notice ended up being a gamble not worth taking. But he tried. He just ran into one of the best lightweights of all time. Gamrot is still very good. Gamrot should hang out. Beneil Dariush versus Benoit Saint-Denis. He could get the loser of that. A rematch with Beneil. I don't think anybody would complain. He can sit around and wait for something. There's things on the table. A Money Moicano fight doesn't seem out of the realm of possibility. There's a lot of options for Mateusz Gamrot forthcoming. And I do still think that there's, a good chance that Gamrot's collecting some wins in the UFC. I don't know about him ever getting to a world title. And it seems like we're at a better time in MMA where like the MMA gods are blessing us with the entertainment, violence-based fighters winning. Pereira over Ankalaev. Now here, Oliveira over Gamrot, right? The guys, granted, Ankalaev's a good boxer. He's not just laying prey. But like the guys that just want to pressure wrestle, getting beat. They're taking something else. Now, obviously, you can say, but Murat's pure entertainment, bro. He's just a ball of violence. I'm so happy Charles Oliveira won. He looked spectacular. I like that he was catching Gamrot. I did get a little worried when he was just walking into shots, but Gamrot's power was nothing for Oliveira. It also poses the question, just how fucking good is Ilia Topuria? To make him look Charles Oliveira not like he's even competitive anymore. To make it look like Charles Oliveira was washed. Oliveira still looks amazing. Oliveira is still in his prime, it seems. Oliveira really snapped it back on track. The Chandler fight was so-so. I just don't think he was motivated. The fight against Topuria, badly knocked out here against Gamrot at home in Brazil, looked unbeatable. Look, he would have beat almost anybody. Look, he would have gave Topuria a better fight this time. I think right now, you match up at lightweight, Charles Oliveira versus anybody. He gives them a serious run. And Max Holloway is the perfect fight. And the winner of Max Holloway versus Charles Oliveira could easily be in line for a title. Though Topuria violently beat both of them. Is anybody complaining about them running it back? Topuria in talks to fight Justin Gaethje, from what I'm hearing. Sarukian fighting Dan Hooker. Obviously, if Sarukian wins, he's back in the mix, and a Sarukian versus Topuria fight would be sensational. Obviously, Oliveira has history with Sarukian, and that rematch could be very intriguing. A lot of people felt like Oliveira should have won. He was the guy going for more of the, finishes and locking up Gillies and putting pressure on and trying to get the finish. Ultimately didn't. He ended up losing a split decision, but he easily could have got that decision. Going out and beating Gamrot, best case scenario, not only for Charles Oliveira, but I think for us as fans too, it's better to have a Charlie O. Now we got the BMF fight with him and Max Holloway. He called for it. I think the UFC books it. Amazing end to UFC Rio. The life of Charles Oliveira, a true story of like redemption, goes from nothing to something, from a career falling apart. The walkout that he had reminded me of his first walkout. I watched his UFC debut live. I was at my uncle's house when I watched it as a kid. And to see him now turn it around, get back on track, and is still amongst the elites after a very tumultuous career and then to a championship run, to some ups, some downs, but back on top at home in Brazil. A book couldn't have been written better. A movie couldn't have been filmed better. real life, you got the best result. And Charles Oliveira getting it done, a feel-good story of 2025 for sure. Seeing him get back on track against a dangerous and tough Mateusz Gamrot. Now, as far as the picks for the night, did pretty good. 9-3 overall. One with Oliveira over Gamrot. Obviously lost with Montel there over Figgy. One with Alvarez over Luque. One with Pinto over Diniz as the lock, underdog lock. Lost with Ramos over Ofli. What the fuck? One with Aswell over Almeida, the pick flip. Obviously, you're not going to pick a one-arm guy. You're going to pick Aswell. Lost with Carpenter to Filho. One with Petrino to Petersen. One with Mesquita to Alekseeva. I realized Sunday I was delusional. I think I was delirious Sunday. I don't know what the fuck was going on. I woke up Monday, so I'm probably going to pick flip that. And yeah, we did it. Rocha over Nicoll. Bang, bang, bang. Polastri over Kowalkiewicz. And Lacerda over Oliveira. So 9 wins, 3 losses on this 12-fight card. That's pretty damn nice. I feel pretty good about it. As far as some of the updated parlays that I dropped Wednesday, the safe one at the top, Alvarez Petrino hits, Aswell Petrino hits, Petrino Alvarez Aswell hits at plus 157. So pretty good. You know, Petrino Alvarez Polastri and Aswell at plus 209 comes through. We were a submission win away with Alvarez from plus 25,814 D-Gen parlay coming through, but wasn't destiny to come to fruition, unfortunately, man. That's how the game goes sometimes, you know? Fucking game sometimes gets you like that. I will say, though, the doggy style parlay with Pinto and Oliveira came to at plus 298. A lot of parlays came through as well that had Walker in them, but it was the void. The odds went down. That's why I created an updated slate for the folks post-weigh-in. And the overs came through as well with Lacerda, Oliveira over 1.5, Polastri, Kowalkiewicz over 2.5 at plus 114. So a lot of good shit overall for UFC Rio, and I was very happy with the card. I give it a rating of how it finished. It's great. It felt great. It felt like the UFC is feeling like it's back again, like we're back in a golden era. And as far as the results, 9-3, I'm pretty happy about that too. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and the week's worth of content. I'll be back on it tomorrow with UFC Vancouver predictions. I'm looking forward to it. I'm also going to be a call-in guest on Guru's Fight Companion. Still doing mine, but also I'm guess going to be the Dean Thomas of that show next week. So that should be pretty cool as well. I love you guys. Hit the likes on your way out. If you're new, subscribe it up and turn the post notifications on too. I appreciate everybody for the continued support. And thank you guys for 53,500 subscribers on the road to 60K. Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know in the comments what you thought too. And W in the comments with nothing to say. Boost the algorithm for your boy. I'll see you all in the next one. Much love. Good night. Peace out.